I love my Keurig.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Drink
I
hot
didn't
cocoa.
for a long
And
time.
just say, it makes good hot cocoa too.
Hot cocoa.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I use it for.
My husband uses the hot water for the tea.
The Keurig machine at our house gets used by the kids for coffee.
Really?
Both
I
my kids
just
went
have
to
a regular
college and
coffee
they drink
pot.
coffee.
Yeah.
Don't understand it. I never got one of those.
I think you need to do that again. Call this meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry,
Present.
Keating,
Present.
Snellings, Weisman,
Present.
Gueracki, Price,
Present.
Behrens,
Here.
Trump,
Here.
6-0.
First up, we have the approval of the minutes from the meeting on November 14th.
Move to approve the minutes, the regular meeting November 14th, 2022 is written.
Second. Okay. Any discussion changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have public comment. Stacy, you're here for public comment.
I'd like to apologize for being here for public comment. I didn't realize that the city office was closed on Friday after Thanksgiving, so I missed the deadline. It was moved up and I missed the deadline to get on, so I apologize for that. I'm here to talk with you tonight about Marysville's Squirrely Christmas. It's this Saturday and on December 3rd, and we have a parade and other activities, so I printed off a map and tried to kind of mark where we would need barricades, so I'm asking the city to provide that for us. The parade will start on the top of 13th Street and come west down to 6th Street. And most of our activities are located around the gazebo park and Santa's house. So we don't need, I don't know how that works with you guys not working on Saturday, but we wouldn't need all of Broadway blocked off all day. We would just need it blocked off for the parade. So from 10:30 until approximately 12:45, we do have the Platinum Dancers that are going to perform in front of their studio directly after the parade. And then we're asking that at 9 o'clock in the morning, or 8:30 in the morning, we have 9th Street between Broadway and Elm blocked, but I did talk with the post office, and they asked if we could block at the alley there until they have a chance for their trucks to come out in the morning. So we have Making Faces. It's they're going to set up in front of the Advocate at 9. So if we could get the barricade from Broadway to the alley so that the post office has access to the alley. And then we're having carriage rides on Elm Street, where the Old Southwestern Bell Building is. So if we could barricade Elm Street coming from Ninth, and then just half of that block, so we could have parking still by the Mexican restaurant and the church.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Just want the south half of the street blocked off.
She wants
With the
Broadway to
west.
the alley.
Huh?
On Elm Street, between Ninth and 10th, we just want the west side of the street. Does that make sense?
You wanna go
But from the
you wanna go
alley
from the
west.
alley to, on Elm Street, you wanna go from the alley to Ninth Street also.
Is there an alley there? I wasn't,
Yeah,
okay.
'cause that's how you get in and out of behind the
Okay.
Kester house.
Okay, yes.
The U,
Mm-hmm.
no, not a U.
Oh, okay, I was thinking on the other side of the street. Yes. And then if we could just have a barricade on the south side of Elm, so that wouldn't block the post office. Does that,
Okay.
that way they wouldn't be coming on Elm to turn into, or to turn onto Elm Street from. Is that, are the barricades heavy?
No.
No?
Well,
No.
Yes, no?
No, they're gonna be in three pieces.
there's some sitting over there, if you wanna use them. They
Because
got rid of their
we,
blinky light, though.
because we could drag the one that's there by the alley to the end of the street when the post office is, if that works better.
That'll just get her a bunch of cones, Austin.
Yeah.
Let her set them out. Those work just as easy.
Cones work really well.
Okay.
And they're no way.
And you can just
Okay.
drop like 5 of them across the intersection and,
Okay,
I mean,
And
I think
then-
that would be easier than trying to wrestle with barricades.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
definitely.
okay, and then just move the cones down? Okay, that works. And then in addition to the street blocking, we'd also like use of the portable speaker system.
You have that?
It's
that
it's
ours?
in my office.
It's in your
mhm.
office, okay.
And I've signed the permission sheet out, so.
Checking.
Any questions about that?
Somebody wanna make a motion? I'd make a motion that we approve the request as submitted.
Okay. Second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think on my letter, there was a portion in there to talk about Christmas lights, but we can do that at the next, I'll get on the agenda next time.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Stacy. Anybody else here for public comment? We don't have any notices and hearings. First up, what's that?
No,
Business and discussion items. First up, we have Sharon with the Kester House Museum maintenance schedule request.
Well, first I wanted to ask if there was any movement at all on the heating for the museum?
Yes, the temporary, radiator has been moved to the museum, so that could be installed. It's waiting for the contractor to go in and install it. And they said they'd get on it, as soon as they could. They were planning today, but, got that moved into place, for them to work on.
May I speak?
Okay.
I did talk to Ron, and it's gonna be a little chilly tomorrow, so they're gonna be there tomorrow. Not 100%, but that's their plan. It sounded like Andy was gonna be available, so
Uh-huh.
they're moving forward on that.
Okay. Well, as we wait and think about why did this happen in the first place, to a place that's been heated for 140 years without freezing. And so, And I remember, I've been on the Kester Museum Advisory Board for a long time, and there was a time when every spring and every fall, someone, Hanover Electric or one of the local plumbers or and people like that would come on a regular basis. It was a schedule, and once we were in February, we were going to have a fundraising dinner there that night, and when we went in the afternoon to work on it, there was no heat. So we called the city, and Charlie Ohm came, and we had heat right away, and he said the burner was filthy. So I think he's told us that several times. And so if you have do you have a maintenance schedule at all? That where someone comes in every spring and every fall to check those things?
We have, actually the state comes in and evaluates that boiler on a regular basis. That's required by the state.
And do they look to see if the burner is dirty?
They certify that the boiler is operating properly.
Okay. And that has happened?
Yes,
It's been
they have
happening?
to sign off on it, otherwise we can't operate it.
Okay. So they signed off on it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't remember the last time they've looked at it specifically, but I believe it's each year they come in and look at it.
It just seems like it shouldn't have happened, and if it did, would you let your house go for 2 years with no heat? I mean, it's damaging every day, and it's not just it's days, and then it's weeks and months and years now that it's been that way, and it just seems like it shouldn't happen. Well, do you have a copy of your maintenance schedule?
I don't have like I said, the state comes in, I don't know when they call, but they call when they're ready to inspect it.
So you don't have any kind of maintenance schedule, like cleaning the gutters and that kind of thing?
No.
Nothing?
No, our guys just handle it. I mean, that's...
But they don't. I mean, and how do you know they do if you don't have a schedule? And
Well, for starters, we don't know what caused it to go out. And who knows how long it was out before somebody noticed it. That's the problem.
right, and
So we need to get a system set in there, so when the temperature goes out, we know.
We do have that now.
Now we have that.
monitoring,
Right.
we added that.
So we've already taken that into consideration.
What kind of system is that?
It's a security system.
Security
with
system.
With a
We
moisture
added-
monitor and a temperature monitor.
That's good.
So we're ahead of the 8 ball once we get it.
Once we get
Back
it
up
up and
and
running.
running.
Yep.
okay.
I think she does make a good point. I mean, other than the state looking at it, what's the insurance policy of having whoever we can get, a plumber to come in and just look at it and say, yeah, this looks good, or, oh, your flame's not burning good in the boiler.
It would not be a bad idea to have it checked
Well, and
out.
that did used to happen.
Just put a reminder in somebody's calendar. Oh, shoot, gotta call that guy and have him look at this.
So I
But
come to my house every couple of years and look at mine, so, just a standard furnace, but.
We had a boiler for 37 years until they tore the motel down.
Yeah, I mean, it would not be a bad idea to have it looked at every year.
It's a
so-
cheap insurance policy.
It is.
For what they're gonna charge you compared to what we're doing now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and when you're talking about insurance, are they gonna pay for getting this work done?
They've been paying for it.
So you've been getting paid for it?
Yes, as
But
we
it
get
hasn't-
bills, we've been submitting them to our insurance, yes.
But it's not being done, so why would they pay for it?
Because as we
We
get
get
bills,
bills.
they pay for it.
So
We
you
got
get
the-
bills and the work isn't getting done?
We
Yeah,
got
so-
the deals from, Chicago.
Yeah.
We had to pay for them when
Yeah,
they got here. We had to
parts,
pay Schrollers for painting them. Those are the bills we're paying for, of the
Okay,
insurance claim.
and, okay, and it's gonna pay for the plumber and
It'll pay for that too.
Right.
all of that after 2 years. Okay, let's see. Well, oh, the other thing I was gonna ask you about was if you have, I thought you, the last time I talked to you about having hydrants on the west side of the building, that we were gonna do that, but is that gonna be done?
It's in the plans.
it.
We're going to put a hydrant on the side of the house, yes.
Okay,
Probably the wrong time of the year to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
And did the windows,
Windows got fixed.
Already got
They're
fixed.
done.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, please get some heat in there.
Thank you. All right, next we have microcom, system service contract.
This is the service contract that, if something goes wrong with our SCADA system on the wastewater side, they come in and fix it at a set rate, set by this contract.
Can I ask what the increase was over last year?
I looked it up. It was 32.25,
Well, not too bad
and that's
then.
what it was in 19, 20, and 21. So
So why would we not do this?
There's no, I mean, we just gotta
Yeah, this is
approve
something that has to be
Gotta be
approved.
approved,
Gotta be
like most
approved.
things do.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
yeah,
contract.
it's not a,
I'm just curious what it went up.
you usually ask.
I
That's why
usually
and
ask
that's why I
that,
looked
so
it up.
over years and
for
years
you.
and years. Because sometimes things go up, you know. Got
It went up a
couple
little
hundred,
bit, not much.
so Not much. Move to approve the microcom system service contract.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0.
This is for 1 year, right? Every
Yes,
year?
1 year. Every year we have to do.
How many times have we had to have them come out?
There was one year where we got, where lightning storm fried the system, yeah.
Okay.
It's well worth it.
It's a lot of
worth-
difference
yeah.
in the labor. We get it for $100, it says, and it's $150 for them, plus a lot of mileage. So it does make a big difference when we need them.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have ordinance 1915, appropriating money for the 2023 payroll.
Move to approve ordinance 1915, appropriating money for 2023 payroll.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
6-0.
Next up, we have the 2023 pool wages. Council said a while back they wanted to have these brought, November, December to kind of review and look at.
Yeah, I put this in here, and what I put in there as possible change is an example. I'm not sure, if this is enough, too much, well, I think it's the bottom, is what I'm thinking, but, that's what it would look like, if you want it, and you guys wanted to have a discussion about it, and we can, don't have to act immediately, but you guys wanted to talk about it, so I wanted you guys to have information.
So the hourly wage, is that what we set for the hourly wage last year without the increase? Okay, that's what I
It's
thought.
what it normally
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
have been.
For last year. I
Right.
think is what you're asking.
Right, for last year before we did the increase when we were
Oh, okay.
only open
Yep.
for a short
All
time.
right. Well, I think we need to come up with something pretty quick and start advertising, or we're gonna be behind the 8 ball pretty quick. These prices don't look, not prices, hourly wages, they don't look terrible.
I don't think they do either.
No, I think they're in line. If you look at what kids can go work at Walmart or Hardee's, I'd rather work at the pool than Sonic. If you can't work at Hardee's anymore.
I know I checked with my wife, and she checked out at Walmart, and they start, 16 years of age is your starting age, and they pay $12 an hour coming in, so, I mean, I think we're right in line with
But
other places.
I do think, along with, if we do an increase here, start advertising next week and get people start thinking about it just a little bit. I've noticed some other.
We gotta set the wage then.
Huh?
We gotta set the wage.
So they can advertise.
Set the wage.
I'll make a motion to accept the wage scale.
Second.
You talking the change wage scale?
I'm gonna say,
Possible change.
Possible change.
Possible
Motion
one?
to accept the possible
Okay.
change wage.
There you
Be
go.
more specific.
to present it.
Any discussion?
It's a good place to start.
Think it needs to be higher?
I
Than
think you need
12?
I think you
I
need to
don't-
try it at this,
I think we
at
need to
this
try it.
rate
I would
for a
think
year.
12 would be, I would
I
think
mean,
that
if you're
would be
second
adequate.
and a third year, you're getting a pretty good wage for
A summer job.
17 years
Yeah.
old.
But it is a job that we entrust them with people's lives. So
Exactly.
Yes.
that's the premium.
But on the other side of it, that we're paying for their certifications and all that too, so.
We can get in a lot of discussions about that premium of thing.
How's that? Oh, as somebody who can't swim, I put a premium on people who can save me.
I can swim in that
No,
pool
no,
unless I go
there's
to the
people
deep
who
end.
physically can't swim, so
I
it's not a learn
understand
to
that.
swim thing to.
I understand that,
Trust me,
but
I had plenty
also
of friends
on the
who
flip
thought
side
that
of
was
that-
the thing.
But on the flip side of
It's a
that
why
is,
you like-
how many how many rescues
Have
are
they
done on a per day basis? Because the information that you got last time, I will bet money on was not solidly true.
But the thing is, it's hard to measure things prevented sometimes.
I disagree, but
Like how many people didn't speed
those
through Marysville because
those
we
one
had police.
reports you were getting that they're having 6 to 8 saves a day. What's a save? Is that save from drowning? Is that CPR? And is that, what's
Sure.
a save?
You're saying the measurability is not there.
You don't have a true measurability what happens down. I think we have a lot of splashing, and I think we have some running, and yes, I think there is a chance
And kids.
of real issues. But I also think we put a lot of things in place to help them. If you were that concerned with it, you wouldn't trust a 15-year-old to do it.
We can't afford a 30-year-old, I guess.
You don't know. 'Cause now you're putting a price
I
on
don't
it.
know where, I don't know where that line is. Probably a 25-year-old, 30's probably pushing it.
Okay.
What's your
guys' thoughts on having a pool manager under contract, like a 2 to 3 year contract? You think we can get a better response, faster response to do that?
Well, have we,
That,
I mean-
that's not a,
yeah, I don't know.
You can't, yeah, I don't know if you could contract an employee to do that.
I don't know how that
'Cause
would work.
Yeah.
puts them into being an exempt employee and.
And wouldn't they'd have to form their own business to do contracting.
Yes, that's true.
Well,
That would be
at a
inside.
minimum, you're paying them you're paying them and then you're giving them a 1099.
That would be a
and
more
That's,
entice
Oh,
way to hire somebody, but.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Keith. I just don't think it's gonna happen this year.
Do we
What
already have a pool
about,
manager,
in the,
don't we?
what about in the off-season, having that person work in the water department or someplace?
I think they've done that before, haven't they? Years ago, then they did, like a long time ago.
Let's put it this way, I'd have discussions
I
on
mean,
it.
it's-
No, I'd have discussions on it.
I mean, we were way behind on these, I'm just thinking of ways to get somebody hired faster. It's just,
Well, we have a pool manager for this year already.
so, I mean, I'm just,
So So that's something we can think about maybe for next year.
And even a contract employee, I mean, they're gonna be exempt from all the other benefits
Right.
of the city, and it's gonna be tough to get to contract somebody for $20 an hour for a short-term contract, and get them to commit for that long.
So the motion was for the possible change?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was to change it to the
To the
yellow to
possible
the change. So,
Now, does that motion need to include just the lifeguards, or does that need to include concession and admission also?
I heard possible change for what's presented.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it's,
As long as you guys all understand, I'm for all of them, so.
okay. Alright, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Alright. Next up, we have the city employee handbook.
we passed this, or we sent this out to you a month ago, and promised we'd bring it back in a month's time, and that's what we did. There was some discussion about some changes possible to vacation, if you guys were interested. Few people were discussing possible buybacks for vacation. I did some investigation through other cities. There are some options out there. But one of the big things that they said was if you're going to do buybacks, you need to require your employees to take a certain amount of vacation, because otherwise you're just paying them not to take vacation, and that's not what vacation is for. So a lot of places do a week. Like, you're required to do a week, and it's for two different purposes. One, so they're using their vacation, and two, auditors like that, because you're disrupting the controls. So if you got somebody who's in charge of finances, they take a week off, and somebody else has a chance to go through the books and do that and make sure everything's correct. Just a second set of eyes. Loved by auditors. It even helps your departments to keep them refreshed and not have one person giving the orders, because, I mean, one, that makes a department fail when that person leaves, and two, you get another set of eyes looking through it. So if you guys are wanting to look further into that, maybe elaborate that into this policy, we can do that. But otherwise, I haven't seen too much discussion on any of the other portions of this book. That doesn't mean you have to approve it tonight, but I wanted to keep this in your mind. I would like preferably to have this ready to go for 2023. So
how long ago was it updated before?
2012. But it's had various updates.
Little updates here and there.
Updates here and there with policies that the council approved, but an overall overhaul hasn't been done since 2012, and it's needed a combing through in recent years.
So if we want to give an employee the ability to buy back a week of vacation, we'd have to do it now, because we won't be changing it for a while. Right?
You can change it anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, you can change it anytime.
Okay.
No, this book is open for your guys' policy changes. It's just that it just hasn't had a look through. We've just accepted the policies, and every once in a while the council, actually sometimes during the certain years, there'd be like multiple changes because of how the council feels about things, and in some years there's none. This just gave a nice look. We had some discussions with lawyers. We've had some discussions with the league. We've had, for instance, we went to conferences where they suggested how to change things. We've taken all that into consideration, and try to implement it in here, bring it to current day standards.
I do agree with your statement, Austin, that part of vacation is, it's not just to accumulate it and sell it back. It's healthy for people to get away from work.
Right.
My only comment that I'm gonna make is the maximum hours accumulated, I think are high for vacation.
Okay.
And the only other thing is, I'm totally in with Christmas Eve for a holiday.
Right.
I'm not quite there with, the other 4 proposed holidays.
Are you giving Christmas Eve as a whole day or half a day?
I'm not there yet, Parker. I'm just not there with Black Squirrel Day, Election Day,
No.
employees' birthdays.
No,
and-
Christmas Eve. Would you give them half a day off as holiday?
If you're gonna do it, it's a whole day,
No, and that's fine.
And if it falls on a Saturday, you give it on Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, you
Right.
give it on Monday. I mean, those kind of.
And just as a reminder, Black Squirrel Day is in our code book. Like, it's just never been enforced.
Yeah.
It never
That
been
was
enforced.
something-
We also have people in town, so as long as we can support what's going on that day.
No,
That's
in
the way I look at it.
In the code book, it says the employees get the day off to work on Black Squirrel Day. And that's just never been like, okay, you got the day off.
So it's like a traded day?
It's like us in the office set up for Black Squirrel Day. I mean, it's just, we concentrate on Black Squirrel Day and participating in it as well. It doesn't state, it doesn't specify, it just says get the day off to Black Squirrel Day.
And the only other question I have for the accumulation of vacation time, what's the mechanism that lets the employee know that, hey, you've hit 180 hours, you're no longer earning vacation?
Our payroll clerk
Okay.
takes care of that.
Well, it's on every check stub you get.
All right.
It's
that too.
printed on your check stub.
Yeah.
How many hours you have of sick leave and vacation at all times.
Because it's a very generous program.
It is, and it's been that way for a lot of years.
Yep. And like I said with the holidays previously, I mean, like, if you approved them all, awesome. But we want to throw out the options that made some sense in some aspect. So,
Can an employee end employment using vacation the whole time?
They can, usually they term pay, that's how Capers prefers.
Okay.
Like the day you stop working,
physically working.
physically
Right.
working, and then we just pay you out all your hours, because that's by law
Okay.
at whatever rate you make. It's not at a reduced rate, it's
Well,
because you earned it,
the
it's
concern
yours.
you have to have there is if you have an employee over 10 years, 432 hours,
Right.
and this employee that's been a longtime employee is a supervisor, they built up 432 hours, they gave you a
Okay, you're gonna
3-month
pay it.
notice, and then they decide just to start burning it until they help get whoever's going to move into their position or do the training, so
Right.
just one thing to think about.
Right.
But yeah, I'm cool with Christmas Eve, but the other 4, Black Squirrel, if that's the case, fine, but
I'll trade the Black Squirrel Day for the birthday.
The what?
For the birthday.
So.
I would
us not
agree
to
with
talk
that,
about
'cause-
Black Squirrel Day and give birthdays off.
I would agree with the birthday thing,
I think that's,
more so than the Black Squirrel
I
Day.
would trade Black Squirrel Day for birthday
Yeah.
pretty quick, and I think a lot of employees would be.
now you're talking our
Okay
language,
with
yeah.
And you have more of a conversation, oh shoot, your birthday's Wednesday, you're gonna be off tomorrow, have fun. Black Squirrel Day, we're all off.
Well, and if your birthday's in the middle of the summer and you wanna go do something, you can instead of,
Right.
I could definitely go for that.
Okay.
I like that, Parker.
And I was gonna say half a day on the 24th, but I can see the full day also.
Yeah, there's some of us that travel a little bit.
Yeah, and
it
that's what I
helps.
say, is
Yeah.
I can see the full day also.
Yeah.
What day is Christmas on this year?
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. So if this were to go into effect right now, it would be, you get the Friday and the Monday. Yeah,
And if you gotta travel, that was not that bad.
no.
Unless it snows, and then they'll all be out. Been there before with that
That's
one.
true,
Yep.
that's true. But if you guys want more, do you guys want more discussion on this, or is that the point of contention right there, which is 100% fine?
I would like some discussion on the buyback and,
I would too.
Okay.
and
One week,
One week.
once a year.
once a year, and then what is the deal about them having to burn some vacation and fine? Are you gonna force them to burn a whole week at one time, or are you a week over
2 months or?
X amount of months? I mean, the thought process on that.
I would make the, buyback contingent on them taking a week of vacation,
All in a row, or?
I would say.
Well,
5 days in a
that's
row.
the discussion to have.
Or
Right.
could you make it the buyback based on, if you wanna buy back just a scenario, you wanna buy back 3 days or 4 days, you need to take the same amount. I mean, that's another way to look at it, especially for the high earners. I don't know, just a thought. Because the people that don't have that much vacation, they're not gonna do the buyback, they're gonna use it.
Yeah,
But the 10-plus year, I mean, what is it, 400?
432 hours.
That's a lot.
We could only, at the hospital, we could accumulate 480, and then. you
But
started
it's different
over.
at the hospital. That's what people need to remember, is the hospital, you accumulated your vacation based on your earned time.
No, you don't, not anymore.
But you had to take it if you wanted to be off on the holiday. We pay holiday plus vacation.
I mean,
That's why you can't take the hospital scenario and compare it. So, yep, I agree.
Okay, so maybe we make this conversation short. Maybe we come up with a proposed vacation policy, to include a buyback and bring it back to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Which would include, how we're requiring employees to,
I'm sure the league's got some ideas in other places.
take vacation, yeah. City of Salina had a really long one, kinda interesting, but I don't think it applies, or I don't think we want it to apply. Lots of different positions they take into effect, and there are a few others that were short and simple, so I think we could probably get to it.
Right. Move on to the consent agenda.
Oh, the only other thing, I'm never gonna enforce it, at work anyways, the smoking policy inside of vehicles, that's gonna be really tough, if it's in your handbook, and you enforce it one time to somebody, because we're saying you can't smoke in the vehicle, but if we allow it to happen, which we know it is, it kinda opens you up a little bit, especially if you're fighting a work comp claim or something.
Right.
Just a thought.
No,
for future.
we've been, over the years, we've been fighting that.
Or
It's,
put the sticker in there.
yeah.
Hope that it.
Yeah, because I hear complaints from people, especially when we buy them a nice new vehicle and then somebody sees them drive around smoking in it.
Right, no, every time
Upsets
I
people.
see it, it's addressed. It's not like I'm treating anybody differently.
Well, that's not what I was insinuating, but it's the general perception of the public, the times you don't hear about it, that you gotta keep yourself.
Okay. Move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion about any items on there? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3785.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3785 in the amount of $277,826.78.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about anything on there? Okay, roll call.
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
you got Bikeman, sorry. Price,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Drum.
Yes.
So,
Okay, Austin.
I didn't have anything to bring to the council this time, so, I, nothing at this time to report.
Okay, we'll move on to standing committee reports. First up is street, and we did have a street committee, here last week, a couple weeks ago.
And I would like to say, no, it was last Monday.
It was
Last Monday.
That's right.
It was a very good conversation. Some of us on both sides get a little emotional or passionate about it. I think what's presented here in the report of at least going out and looking at, what's it gonna cost us long-term to do a bigger project, because I will say that I am not for small projects. This is a great start to developing a plan. If the plan takes 3-4 years to get completed, but we make a good commitment, if it's surface structure, then I don't know about curbs, but I think we need to look at drainage first, long-term. This is a great thought process, and I enjoyed the conversations with Austin, the mayor, and the other street committee members. I truly feel that if we approach this the right way, we're going to be beneficial to both the city and the residents that live out there. The last thing, I probably should have saved this for the roundtable. I think the residents that are going to benefit, and what I call benefit, regardless of where you live, if you're in the city or not, I think they're willing to help out with the project to an extent probably more so than what we see with some of the other street projects in town. There was, Austin and I had a good conversation Wednesday, and the thought process was, well, if I don't like this gravel street, gravel road, or this paved road, or this brick road, and I want it replaced, should the city have to help pay for it, or should the city pay for it? I don't think so. I think if the citizens have some skin in the game, one, it takes away and I'm going to say this, I hope we're on live here, Austin, that political argument of the county goes away. Because, I like when you roll your eyes like that, or just
no,
kind of think.
I'm just thinking.
The thought process, the county's always said, well, we're not going to do that because then we got to do that for Axtell or Beatty or Frankfurt. Well, the citizens said they'll pay for 10% of it. That's a little different.
You bet.
And then that's where it protects the county guys on the backside to say, well, you guys want to, put some meat in the game, we'll talk about it.
I still don't, I mean, they made it as politely clear as they could
Well,
in the meeting.
Yeah,
That they are
Hey,
not
no,
wanting to contribute towards city.
but that's why we
township.
can't just sit back and go, well, that's just what they told us, so that's what we're going to
Yeah,
live
look,
with.
you go meet with them, but they'll,
I
I mean.
I
they were
can't
polite.
because I was
They're-
told that, basically,
you
I can
could-
talk
I
to them
think
as
you
a
could convince
citizen, but I
one.
can't talk to
But
them.
like the two other ones said, look, they both drive like 5 miles on a gravel road to get to their house.
Understood.
They're not very sympathetic to hearing people say, I've got to drive on
Understood,
gravel,"
but
because
that's
they
where
do.
when we hear things like that, we can't make that too public and keep working at it to build that relationship over time. Because we are a major driver in their tax base.
Oh, we are.
And so that's the way we need to approach it over time. I'm not saying whatever was proposed in here, in this committee report, and I'm assuming this is published online, public, that people can at least see the initial thought process.
Are you talking like an assessment or a tax district, or what are you talking about?
There can be a special assessment on the people that are going to, and you gotta be very careful about how you do that, because that's a different conversation for the street committee. Because you get some people, especially in the city, that they have a city lot and they buy another lot next to them because they don't want anybody to build next to them. Well, I think they
I've
should
done
be
that.
assessed differently. I
Well,
honestly
my
think they should be
taxes-
assessed
My taxes
differently.
went up when I did that, because they combined my parcels into one big 3 lots, and my taxes went up.
Right.
They're more combined
And
than what
so
they
if
were
you're
before.
going to want an improvement like this, I think that those individuals that make that decision should be willing to pay a little more.
On an old lot?
Well, not Austin, sorry. We're not talking about,
Are you talking on new?
yes, new
New
properties that we've made investments in the last 10
Well,
years.
and there have been, I mean, like, sometimes they will, like if you have a, say.
But that's
tax
a whole
district,
different
it'll-
conversation. I
It'll
mean,
be so
that's-
much per, road frontage.
Right.
Because you get into that sometimes where, like, say out there and you go X many dollars per house, well, somebody might have an entire block of road frontage if they've got several acres.
There's a
And
few
somebody
of them
might
that
have,
probably didn't need to
100
buy the
feet.
properties they bought. So.
it gets expensive when
I'll
you
leave
have
it at
those.
that. Because what they're taking away is tax revenue to the city. We've already made the investment to put several hundred feet of sewer in, water in. We've made that investment. They made that choice to buy that extra property because they don't want people next to them. But that was their decision. So, and I think you'd be surprised of what people would be willing to step up to. The only thing in Austin, I meant to mention this to you after I saw this. With the proposed layout, and this is just preliminary, right? We're not paying to have this is throwing it out there to have a ballpark.
This is
Yeah.
is based off a discussion we
Yeah.
had.
The only thing my thing with turning and going down Keystone and doing that little dog leg, just go south. That takes care of our dust problem right there, down to Timber Creek. And I'm not being critical that way, just the more I think about it. And Mr. Rottinghouse might be listening now, but if we do that's proposed on the map, we just opened up his space for him a little bit more that's not in the Phase 1 project. So just a thought.
Are you proposing a 5-year plan for this, or how many years?
Right now, this is just the discussion to get a phased approach to a plan. And it's not just out here, it's other places in town, a phased approach to how we're gonna approach our road and street projects.
Well, I know a lot of people that live in that area, they want everything fixed. They want it fixed like now, so I mean.
Well, yeah,
Like what fix?
It's been on,
Keystone,
yeah.
11th Road, 12th Road.
Keystone, 11th Road, yeah. But they also need to understand that this isn't just gonna happen. I see the things, I don't do Facebook, but I see the things on the concerned, whatever it is.
Well, they just wanna see their tax dollars on their, on their roads too.
Right.
I mean, that's.
But
I see their point.
I think if we just show them we have a good plan moving forward, and it ain't gonna happen next year. It ain't gonna happen 2 years from now. We might start working on drainage things and stuff like that, but we don't wanna jump into something and just throw down concrete or asphalt or whatever it is, and then 10 years later, oh gosh, we have it.
We come up with, it should be done right the first time.
Right. And that's why it's not a discussion that we're gonna put on the budget for 2 years from now. We might do little pieces of it, and I think that's where you could probably, number one, get some help from the county and the townships. Hey, we need to put some culverts out here at the intersection of a Keystone and 12th Road. We need to do some work there. Would you guys help out with the dirt work, and we'll pay for the concrete, or vice versa, and the same thing down there? Austin kind of argues with me at that little, see that draw that goes down into a Keystone?
They're just off of Hickory Ridge.
Well,
To the
Just-
east of it where that draw comes through
Just
there?
west of Doc Nagley's.
Yeah,
There's water goes across that road. And that ring property is probably gonna be, in my opinion, the smartest place to develop anything else in the future. If you know where the ring property is. And Mr. Nagley ain't gonna like this, but in my opinion, you don't go from 12th Road to 11th Terrace. Cause that opens up a lot of property there that makes it very valuable, especially for property value. We look at what's in the city and we go from there. I will shut up now. I am very passionate about this, Austin. We talked about this Wednesday night. So, just things to think about. Kevin, you were there. Do you have any comments? I mean,
well, like I said, we need to phase it in, but
Yep.
how we do it and how we get from point A to point B and the number of years it's gonna take, because you know as well as I do, and like you said, this isn't the only project we got. We'll have,
nope.
There's a lot of thought into it.
yeah, Jayhawk Road, we'll have 8,
And honestly, if you look at a big comprehensive plan, build all that in, Jayhawk Road and
8th Street.
8th Street, build that all into one big plan, and if year one is making sure we have proper drainage, that's our approach. Year two is, let's make sure we have good bases everywhere before we do anything. The big thing some of the residents that I've talked to out there, and when I talk about residents, I don't talk about Keystone. I talk about the ones on Jayhawk, 11th and 12th. There's that big debate. Do we have to have gutters and all, or not gutters, but,
Curb and gutter?
curb and gutter? Do we have to have it? Or if we have a good enough road that's built to a certain standard, do we need it? And so that's just things we've got to think of. Same thing up in Jayhawk. I mean, and that's what when I drive around on these out lane roads out there in Jayhawk, you just sit and think, how the heck could we ever put curb and gutter there? Because you look at the ditches, it's not possible.
Yeah,
No.
no.
But if you can build a nice road and then have, like a 2-inch or 2-foot
Yeah.
side with
Right.
gravel, then great. But I don't want to see us jump it, because if we go any farther south on 11th Road with that water problem, I think we could get ourselves into trouble.
Which one?
In front of Zetterman's.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much more they can do there, because there's a 4-inch gas line that runs through there.
Right, I know.
Didn't they put some kind of drainage thing in the ditch to help that?
The city paid one time to improve
That
that a
was-
few years back, and it helped, I think, but it
No,
didn't solve it all.
Our last plan we just did has 3 options for that drainage. It has geomat, it has regular dirt and grass seed, and there's one more option. And that's being done as we go down that 11th Road. It's all built into the plan that's there.
I don't know, that thing in front of Zetterman's,
Well, it's a rock shelf.
yeah, you're gonna have to do something there, that or figure out a way to push that water to the west from.
I think last time they did it, they just did dirt on top of rock shelf. It's not
I think
gonna.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to do probably the geo mesh.
I guess the only point, if we have another street committee, I would invite anybody to show up, please, and just have a conversation, because that's, the debate process is what's gonna get us through something like this. Out there, out at Jayhawk, out at, Breeding Heights, things like that, so. And I also do not agree with some of the things that they've been putting on concerned, whatever it is. Because they got some really, I love the pictures of a school bus, a road in Rome, and roads that weren't built 2 weeks ago. And that's not the right process to have,
No, it's not.
so,
Our brick streets last forever, too. It's not necessarily very smooth.
yeah.
I do agree with them and the concerned citizens about that hump in front of Keating Drive that we remember,
Yeah.
And we tried to tell.
I think that's, Austin, I think,
Supposed to be fixed when they.
yeah.
Yeah.
When we do something, that's gonna be fixed,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not at our expense.
it's paid for.
Yeah, it's paid
Yeah,
for.
it's already
Yeah.
paid for.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
that
yeah.
issue is going to be resolved.
But the nice thing is it slows people down too.
Real quick.
Yeah. Well, what's council want to do, I guess? I mean, I can see the benefit of doing, and all we're asking for right now is to just get bids to do the engineering, correct?
So request for proposals, basically aligning out each of these potential projects. And I've been recommending the very first project. If anything, if nothing else is done, that very first portion of 12th Road needs to be addressed.
The main project.
The main project, with drainage, with whether we're going to include a turning lane or not, that needs to be, because we have a business there, and two businesses there, that really rely on that road, to get in and out. That's where it's at. So the recommendation was to go out for a request for proposals from engineers, saying that these were the three things we were looking at. We were also looking at two different surfaces, concrete and asphalt, and the possible use of a concrete infused base. So they would propose the design amount for each of these projects, and I would say that if they were to put it together, they'd use the main project, and then anything beyond that, it's like we accepted the main project and this other project, if we were to ever go with these other two, option A and option B. And then they would also be notified in that request that if they are successfully selected, they would be providing engineers' estimates for those options, the asphalt, the concrete, the base. And I'd probably also surmise that maybe they have better options if is not, or they have better thoughts or different thoughts on what the base should be or how the drainage should go, because that's what you're paying your engineers for. But we specifically want those details and how much they're going to cost.
Can we modify the proposal on 12th Road to just go straight to Keystone? Or not Keystone, Timber Creek Drive.
Timber Creek?
Because if you walk it off, it's not that much farther, and that takes care of our dust problem.
I did this based off of the...
And I understand with that night, we had that conversation.
This actually came from your idea.
I know.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
that was because we weren't getting ready for it, and this got me, at least on the docket here. I would like to at least modify it that way, and the way I look at it, if they come back and they say it's gonna cost you $6 million, then we'll start cutting it up like a cookie and figure out what we can do.
The council can do however they like.
Jeff, you live out there, 12th Road, south of Hometown, where I'm gonna call it the big swale is through there, north of Hometown Drive, but south of Hometown. Does water ever come over that road?
No, 12th Road is good. I've never seen...
It's kinda got that pond and all that.
I don't think it goes over the road, but it does hold there
Oh,
behind
with the
that
Wasserburg?
house.
Yeah,
No, nothing's ever... It's gotten close, Kevin.
I didn't, because like I said, I never,
They got a tube like
that's what I was wondering, does that need
you
to
know,
be?
It needs to be, and my thought is, any intersections, they need to be concrete. It's the approach to an intersection, and then after that, but,
Right.
yeah, I would, it's never got up
I mean,
that much, but you're not draining that much there either. I mean, you're just draining Gerald Wassermann's old property.
down
Is there
into,
kind of a
No,
retention
there's-
pond in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, no, it was a
kind of.
Cayenne.
Well, not that kind of retention. There was no
it's a
septic
divoted
tank.
area with a drain in the middle of it.
There was no Gerald never had a septic tank. That was his
Private.
private, yeah. But the coyotes are getting into that hill on the intersection, the southwest side. The coyotes are just having a heyday around all of, Blue Valley's boxes there. They got so many holes dug.
No, but that'd be part of the engineering, you know, deciding whether that culvert there need to be enlarged or.
If it's in the road, yeah.
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 It'd be that area and then probably just north of, Lindine's, because Holt House put that huge drainage tile. I mean, it's like a 36-inch tile that goes across that bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's one spot where water pools, and I would think, you know, you'd want to talk to him about that. If the city can push water down there, because that water in between the venue and, I call it the Gripco place.
Right.
Whoever, there's a pretty good stream of water that goes through there off that field at Murdoch's.
Right.
Those would be the two major spots I'd worry about. Then down west
On Keystone,
Yeah.
where it crosses to the east.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, I got.
But that's part of the engineering
Yeah,
side of it. Is
exactly.
They need to decide that, you know.
So if we send it out for engineering, we're gonna send it out other.
You'd send it out to a
bunch
bunch
At
of
least
engineering
5.
firms,
At least
yeah.
5.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with getting a price on it.
Let's see, they get a price and then you can have a discussion about whether you want to pay for engineering or not.
Well, I don't think you pay for engineering until we get a price and we talk to people out there, because we're gonna have to really look at our funding on how we do it. I would like to make a motion that we amend the map that Austin presented to us, which I helped him make on the record, and change that to go down on 12th Road straight to Timber Creek Drive.
So
And
that's the first one or second one?
What's that?
That's the first drive going in there or second one?
That's the second one.
Second one?
And
Do we need to go to the second one?
Yeah, you do. That fixes your dust
for
control
why?
thing,
Okay.
because you're always gonna fight that. That's how your school bus route goes in there. And they pick up a lot of kids out there right now. Make the motion to amend the map that's been presented to go down to Timber Creek Drive, and just strictly a request for proposal for engineering construction.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
5-1. Okay. Does anybody else have anything on street? Kevin?
I did, but what it was. Sorry. I didn't write it down either, so that's all right.
Okay. Now you can remember for round
If I
table.
might, yeah, I might come up with it.
Water, wastewater?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
lagoons. Did we ever get all that ironed out? and
Yeah, we should be
taken
getting some
care
kind of
and
update on that.
With, whatever Nathaniel was supposed to get done?
In fact, we have electrical, we're starting the process of getting the electrical engineering, a portion of it. we have electrical engineers coming on Wednesday, to look at our lift station out here.
Down here.
The main one.
Okay,
To look at how we're gonna do screening, how we're gonna incorporate either VFDs or soft starts, into that. The engineer still has questions on how the old, force main runs from where the, plant was to over there, seeing if we can use that in our plans versus putting a new line in and costing lots of money. So he said he's gonna come up, Wednesday as well, to talk with us about that, whether, any procedures were done on that to clear it out or not. The fear is, that it wasn't cleared out, and there's, possibly solid amount of waste in there. So we're still working at it, to get it all taken care
have
of.
they come back with lagoon size, A or B, or any of that stuff?
No,
yet?
they're still working on that. KDHE is kind of pushing us towards a larger
For
side.
the larger one? Okay.
So that's,
That was where I would
Yep.
have wanted to go anyway
Yep.
instead of.
Yeah.
so that they were concerned about, some of the water flow, even though we could go, hey, that was a rainy year, or that was a this or that. They were still concerned with the numbers, so they were pushing us a little bigger. Well, some of it was 2019 was a high.
We fixed a lot of I since then.
Yes, no, and we've improved our system, so, regardless, they're still, either we completely sign off on it, or actually they're still like, here, you should probably go a little bit bigger, so,
Okay.
that's what we're looking at right now. Yeah.
No, I don't either. I mean, that's the way it needs to be designed, big enough, so in case
Yep.
something does come to town, we have the room out there for it.
Yep, so we are actively working on the lagoon still.
Okay. Just haven't heard anything for a
Oh,
long time.
I know, this is a big project, and it's kind of hard not to wonder where we're at, but yeah.
Okay. Anything else on water, wastewater?
Okay. I seen in your, comments there, in your report there, that you're going out for bids from 9th to 8th to 10th
Yeah,
on Elm Street.
so we're getting that engineered.
Right, we're
So-
getting it engineered.
Yeah,
right.
after the conversation we had last, council meeting, I asked, Rob, how this would fit into his plans on getting this completed, so we could have the whole
We're
thing.
gonna go from Broadway to the alley north of Walnut,
Yes,
and then from Elm on 10th, from 8th to 10th in one
yes.
project.
That was, one project, that was, the plan just to do, so we were supposed to just do 8th Street
So we're putting
this
the two
year.
plans
We're
together.
putting them together. KDHE's already approved, I think right after the council meeting, I got a notification that, the 8th Street project was approved. And I asked Rob about, adding this on, and he said, it shouldn't be an issue, since they were already in the process of approving the 8th Street one. It's just an add-on to the project, so, they'll look it over, at the end of the year when the plans are done. And
We have
probably,
available to bid in February.
that's my hope. It depends on how fast KDHE moves along on the process.
Like I said, we didn't get last year's projects done. I wanna make sure we get
I
them
know.
done this year and be
Yeah.
on
So
top of
this
them.
is the water line,
Water line, yes.
and then in doing so, you'll replace the streets that, or fix the streets, is it on the street
Yep.
side?
Yeah.
Yes, so on 8th Street, it's on the east side of the street, and I think it's on the north side of Elm Street, but still in the street.
Right,
Uh,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, wherever it gets
Tell,
done.
I don't know how many times we've done the
a
valves up
lot.
there by Carriage Apartments there.
Break.
Yeah.
Yes,
Just the one
that's
up.
why this is top on the list, is because you could probably dig it up and find 5 fixes.
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah.
Real pretty easy, so, yeah, I forget how, I think they were I believe we're trying to bore 8th Street, so I would assume we're trying to, bore the rest of it. Because
Fine with
brick
me.
is not fun.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's labor intensive.
they're labor intensive.
Dig it out, concrete it back.
So that way we can have probably 2 or 3 holes along Elm Street, to get that one installed.
Yeah.
Much easier than trench.
Oh, yeah.
What about the manholes on the highway?
KDHE has not approved that yet. Or at least I haven't received that back, but it is in KDHE's hands.
Okay, anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Yeah, the lights down by the trail through, maybe south of the Helving Center on
Mm-hmm.
the trail all the way through City Park were not on.
They're working again.
Oh.
They weren't working at 6:15
Okay.
when I went by, but when I came
Now
over
they're
to the
working.
council meeting, they were on.
Interesting.
Because
Well,
they-
maybe
they
the
weren't on-
timers, those are on timers, aren't
They should be on
they're
I.
on.
They're on
They're
I.
on I.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cause see, when I drove by at
Mhm.
5:30, they were not on.
Yeah, they've been real goofy because the other night when we come home at
Okay.
10 o'clock, they were off yet.
Well, yeah, we need to have somebody look at it then. Maybe we
And
got
then
an
the-
eye going bad or something.
And now that they're on, the 2 bulbs that are directly north of Walnut on the 2 street posts, both of those bulbs are out.
Okay.
On which one? Repeat that.
On the north of Walnut, the first 2 poles, those bulbs are out. Everything else was lit along there tonight, but those 2 were out.
The street light bulbs
Yeah,
themselves.
the bulbs
The
and-
bulbs and the lights.
in the
not-
lights, yeah.
Not the Christmas lights.
Yeah, not the Christmas lights, the actual.
He's looking
lights
real
are on.
close if he's looking at 2 bulbs in the Christmas lights.
Huh?
North of Walnut.
But like I said,
Numerous times.
it's
and
been
there's-
goofy because they've been
see 'em
off.
on, see 'em off.
See 'em off. Because the other morning, when I went to work
I don't do
at
it.
6,
Cheaper not to.
well, 5:30 when I went by,
Okay.
everything was off down there. So it's been real hit and miss with them being on and off, so.
Yeah, I wonder if we just replace the eye on that one. Plus those bulbs, see if they're screwed in anyways.
Okay. All right,
But one other thing on parks.
Yeah.
I saw the, fountain is installed down at the dog park
Yes.
parking area.
Uh-huh.
Do we have plans to get bollards up before we remove the barricades around it?
Yes. After somebody ran over the barricades before the thing was there.
Exactly.
It enticed me to put more bollards than we planned on, so yes, there's gonna be bollards.
Close enough together that even a skinny car can't fit in between.
Correct. There's gonna be bollards around the meter pit, so nobody runs over that, or if they try to run over it, they'll feel it. And then, I think at least 3, if not 4 bollards around the water fountain, just based off of how we can fit it in.
Since it's a pretty big investment.
Yes.
so
Exactly.
Worth
Yes.
protecting.
Definitely, yeah, we're gonna protect that.
okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec?
Yep.
Yes.
The tennis courts lights on the south courts on the east side do not shut off.
Oh,
Huh? They have been on day and night, all day long,
On the
all night long.
south
South courts, east side.
courts.
Sounds like a security feature.
It is.
I like that blinky light on the,
The little thing over here that was there for 2 weeks.
Did they do anything out there?
No.
No, they pulled it for the holiday, and then hopefully they're gonna put it back. They're gonna put it back and be done by December 2nd, I believe.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's gonna be impressive.
Yeah.
But they're putting in a line. They're putting in a fiber line down 9th Street. I went back and looked at the permit. They're putting a fiber line, a short stint. I don't know if they're just replacing a portion of it or not. And then I think they're putting a new line to a customer down 9th Street.
AT&T?
Yes.
Oh. Enough equipment for one customer. Impressive.
It's expensive too.
Yeah.
okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you got?
Swimming pool updates, anything going on with the pool as far as settling, or we've contacted anybody, or what's our goal, or
I
we just
do
gonna let
have,
it go, or?
I do have Manhattan Energy Center, their quote approved to come up and fix the issues with,
Onyx?
with the, not Onyx, it's,
Diamond Bright?
Diamond
Yeah,
Bright.
they were-
Diamond Bright, the grout, and they are also, removing the sand from the filters and putting new sand in there. And as long as they put gravel at the bottom of the sand, it should go really well, because otherwise, if there's no gravel down there, it's concrete in the bottom of those sand filters, because of all the pressure of the sand on top of it. I'm crossing my fingers on that one, because I think they increased their fee by quite a bit. But those are, I have Manhattan Energy Center locked in for that.
What about the swag on the north end of the pool,
The,
the settling?
Kids thing?
Or is that the
And the
east,
kids deal?
the west end?
West
The west
end,
end.
north
Northwest
side,
end.
Yeah.
northwest corner.
Where the baby pool.
where it's settling?
Yeah.
I don't have a plan, I don't know how to fix that, because it's a whole, it'd be the whole pool that's settled. Either that or just that, I mean,
Did the pool settle or the pavement?
The pool has settled.
because if you saw those pictures that I took,
I
it's,
seen 'em, yeah.
it's that whole corner,
Yeah, because of where the water was, where the deals blow up. Yeah, I remember those pictures.
yeah. I guess, how do you see that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we need to get an engineer, somebody up here before we lose some more of it down in there. I mean, I
Well-
hate for it to settle another
Yeah,
4
but
or 5
what's an
inches, and then we're
engineer,
gonna have to.
what's an engineer gonna, I mean, I don't know, if it's settling, I don't know how you fix it other than fixing stuff when it, I mean,
Mudjacking,
Yeah,
that's,
mudjack it, or,
maybe.
You know, they got that,
What about
Thrasher's
those-
got that spray foam that
Well,
they can.
Thrashers, you always see them talking up on the channels up in Lincoln about fixing pools.
Yeah, and all that by
I
raising
don't
the,
know if you could do that with all the plumbing.
yeah, I think you just start breaking stuff, I don't.
we just adjusted the plumbing back.
Yeah, we don't wanna do that again.
Yeah, we're adjusted for the settling now.
yeah.
For a while.
I will ask the question, I will ask the
But ask,
question.
I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Ask
hurt to
questions.
ask.
Okay, I will ask
It
questions.
could just be the surface side too, unless they buried more electrical lines in the.
I don't know, but like I said, you know, it's, pools hasn't been there that long for it. You know, that old pool's been there many, many years, and it was only settled about 6 inches over that time. So-
Right,
And this one's been here a short amount of time, and we've dropped that much, I can,
yeah. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I will ask questions. Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Parks and
that's
Rec?
all I got on my list now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cemetery and airport. Police and fire.
I see we got clear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Good.
Yeah, did they get their remodel project done?
No,
They going yet?
no,
Getting better by the minute.
that's exact, yeah, that's my,
Is that project supposed to be done by the end of the year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that project gonna be done by the end of the year? Not looking good.
looking good.
They're building that shed at the hospital.
Who's building this? Oh, Peak, yeah.
I thought they did stuff so they could do siding, but obviously that didn't happen then either, right? Didn't they move things down there so they could do siding?
They moved things, yes, yeah.
Oh, and then nobody ever showed up. Okay.
Just amazes me why we can't get work done within the calendar year. Are we putting penalties on these guys? Do we need to?
That's a tricky question,
Might be hard to get people hired if you.
yeah. It's a challenge.
With this one though, we discussed this, wasn't
Well-
it February?
February, March.
They probably, when they bid that, they figured that was a nice rainy week project, which it hasn't rained.
And we didn't get rain.
They're probably thinking it's when it gets too cold to do outside stuff, they'll switch around and do that.
He did say he was gonna start, consolation here, December 5th. that was his hard date after, pressing him. Multiple of us pressing him because, first line of questioning was with the police department. And then I think, Will got after him as well. So it's been, we've been on them. And it's been a challenging last couple of years. I'd say the first year of COVID was fine because everybody was still looking for work. We were trying to keep everything running. And then, not necessarily the economy, I mean, but it goes along with it, but.
No, I know there's parts failures and.
Supply chain has affected everybody. Employment has affected everybody, and it's a challenge. Everybody who we usually go with is busy because they're catching up with their work. But again, the contractor signed up for it.
Right.
And that's where we're at as the owner of the facility. But do you send them away, or, I mean, being in the same spot sort of thing? It's tricky how you treat people in this situation, especially in the times that we're living.
Well, you see how Inline's doing, they're working weekends.
Holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve was out there demolishing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then they're building that new building, that
Pepsi building, yeah.
They're building it too down there.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Well, I commend them because they're
getting stuff done.
yeah.
Well, it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Like we brought up earlier, we talk about people being responsible, and we also talk about us having to be responsible for things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect, and I work Thanksgiving too, but, because of the weather more than anything, but I would prefer people were home with their families on Thanksgiving. I didn't have anything going on that day.
World
But yeah,
still
I
runs.
wouldn't,
Yes. Yes.
anyway, anything else on police and fire? Admin and finance? No appointments yet. I think we're gonna try and do a bunch next week, or next meeting. You have anything, John?
No, I maybe Austin mentioned last time, December 19th, the auction tax sale's going on,
December when?
19.
10 o'clock. The judgment was $50,000 plus $26, I believe, or 29, I can't remember now.
Somewhere in there. Well, we might break even on the deal, which would be great.
Well, that's what we were,
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
so. All right, if you don't have anything else, then, roundtable. Todd?
Just, as far as the ongoing demolition in the 600 block of Center / Broadway, want to make sure we're keeping tabs on developments there. I know it's not our property that's being worked on currently, but it's our neighbor. And so it'd be nice to keep updated on that. If you hear things that maybe aren't something that people at large, or you never know what you're hearing on the street, how much truth there is to things anyway. If you know, Austin, if you're in communications with them on it, and you can kind of keep us informed, that'd be great.
Okay.
If you're not in communications on it, and you can be, that also would be great.
I guess, are you looking at the demolition or the rebuilding?
The process after the demolition is about done.
Yeah.
So, but just kind of what the plan is, and making sure that it's maybe a team effort in that, you know, kind of keeping them informed that we have ideas with our portion of that block.
Okay.
So we can kind of all be on that same page, and they don't do something like, I thought, put a nice beautiful bay of windows facing east, and then we go and put a wall up that they can face. Maybe they want the daylight is all and not a view. I don't know, but that's a conversation to have.
Okay, yeah, we've had a couple different conversations. I've listened to some of the council or commission conversations that have happened about this, but yeah, we want to make sure we're on the same page.
Don't they have to get a building permit anyway?
Yes.
And there's, I think I talked to you about it, the generator,
Yeah,
outside generator, would be an
Yeah.
issue too.
They have to do a site plan first because it's a commercial building and then a building permit.
yeah, they have to go through the planning commission. So, yeah, I will make an effort.
Plus, as part of the demolition, I mean, the sidewalks and parking and things weren't necessarily wonderful,
Oh,
perfect
those are all
everywhere.
coming out.
They're all coming out.
That's what I wondered. I didn't know what
Coming
that,
out to the back of the curb line, along with all the big limestone foundation.
okay.
I specifically,
So
I
are-
asked Steve for that, because I need that limestone foundation.
Is the county going to come and want to take part in our sidewalk sharing program?
Yes,
I
they've already
presume?
asked.
Okay.
They've already asked.
Talk to him about that, yeah.
You and I can fight over the limestone rocks. We need
Well, right now they're going to the back of Landell's property.
No, that's where some of the bricks go.
There's plenty of brick out there, I can tell you. We never got it shoved over the weekend, and we got.
But let me give you a little reality. They've also already hauled in 595.5 tons.
Ooh.
Of what?
That's
Rubbish.
how much they've hauled in of them buildings so far.
Well, I talked to Steve, because the other day I saw him wanting to go out back there with some wood, and I said, no.
He knows where to go.
That's a lot.
Okay. Anything else, Todd?
No.
Okay, Jeff?
I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving weekend. I will let you know that if Todd Fry ever asks you to go on a Jeep Jamboree and you have a vehicle you don't want to hit the cedar trees and spend your Thanksgiving weekend polishing things out, get with me and we'll look at the map together. But it was I think it was a great thing that Todd did. We had a good crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that just in general, we ought to support those kind of things in the future.
Brought some out-of-towners to town.
Yes, we had some very neat people. The one individual from Abilene, I think is another.
John. He's a councilman from
Council
Abilene,
member?
so, you
Yeah,
know.
so we had some interesting people that we were around. Other than that, thank you for just listening to me tonight. I'm just, speaking my emotions and speaking for the people that elected me. That's all I got.
Are we having an employee Christmas lunch this year, or?
We used that picnic that we had as the employee
Okay.
meal.
How many showed up for that?
A few of us there, yeah.
A pretty decent crowd, not
It's
everybody.
a nice day, too.
I think it was a good day. I think if my plan is hopefully to have something like that next year. Now that I know that we're gonna do that, plan ahead and let everybody know, to plan for it. Because usually people's holiday parties and all that stuff are planned way in advance. We all know which weekend it's gonna be on. That way employees can plan on it, council members can plan on it. But it was it was a great day, yeah. So I as of right now, I'm planning on the first weekend of October again, just to.
It was a beautiful weekend.
It was beautiful.
Okay, I was.
It worked out great.
That's all I got.
Okay. Parker?
Nothing.
Colleen? Kevin? You remember what you forgot?
I didn't remember what I forgot. Was,
Okay, I don't have anything.
I don't know.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?